Hello everyone, I'm Like a Boss.
And I'm Muzdu.
Welcome back as we're getting into the final fight, the championship decider. And Muzdu, what do you gotta say?
Well, coming off of that loser's bracket, we had yet another exciting series of fights, and rightfully so. It is their last shot for getting any points in this season. But let's get into this final fight and find out who is both the champion of this tournament and our first season.
Now, I believe these two have met up before, haven't they?
Now, if we go and look at their record against each other, Bowstoise has a 1-0 lead over Sir Bubble. It's also important to note that the only Amiibo that has beaten Bowstoise is Jin Kazama,
Who, as we know, has definitely struggled in some of these tournaments. But let's get into this. Whoever wins this wins the whole season. We have Bowstoise, the Goliath of this league, has won 2 tournaments already versus Sir Bubble, who I think is the most consistent fighter I've ever seen.
Absolutely. And we just have a potential for an unprecedented 3 tournament wins. That would just be absolutely insane to bear witness to.
Also, the first record of being the very first Ultimate Amiibo League champion.
Wow, you can't...
A lot's at stake here. As Sir Bubble's definitely struggling, already taking 105 damage. Against Bowstoise, you cannot do this. You have to be up, and you have to be up and early. Also, they're at home stage advantage, technically, seeing how it's in Mario Universe. DI keeps him...
Oh! And a spike from Sir Bubble!
Oh my goodness! And then he switches to Squirtle for whatever reason. But oh my goodness!
Wow!
Sir Bubble just turned this game around, and I know that it doesn't seem like much, but getting basically a stock reset from being up 145, it's even playing ground now as he gets to start off as Ivysaur, and it's even as the funny number comes out again. But
that was best case scenario for Charizard and Sir Bubble, as that made this a game.
This game is crazy. Only a minute 30 into it, and
if Sir Bubble is to win this match, we can go back and look at that one play.
Yeah, that one play was
why.
That was a champion decider right there. This is why the 2 best fighters are in this tournament.
That changed the game. Wow.
Sir Bubble coming out with 100 damage. I don't know why he's doing this, but I'm interested. He really should have done the throw there. I think the Squirtle throw there would have killed. As a Bowstoise back air knocks him out of here. Ivysaur quickly getting some damage on him, but he's got to kill him now.
Absolutely. And with Charizard coming back out, it is his best chance.
He's got 51 damage already, though.
Wow. And cancels
couldn't even get the Flare Blitz.
Oh! But the Flare Blitz hit him on the way back.
Look at that damage. 89 damage against Bowstoise. That's not going to be fun. He's going to have to... Whoa!
I thought wow.
He chose the wrong time to dodge.
Wow.
But he's going to come out here with a forward. Oh my goodness. There's so much riding on this match.
Intense, so stressful. And he goes to the lightest character while at 150 damage.
Maybe he's doing those combos. As he's setting up the combos, all Bowstoise has to do is basically land one forward aerial, and it's over. As he almost gets one.
Oh.
Maybe Sir Bubble wants to finish this himself as he's... No!
And we get Bowstoise with
goodness.
the win. His 3rd tournament win and the champion of the first season. The first Ultimate Amiibo League season champion is Bowstoise.
I mean, this has been such a great season. What a great championship. I think that Sir Bubble really gave it his all, and we cannot say that Bowstoise did not do his best. He won 3 tournaments this year, his only bane being Jin Kazama. I just have to say congratulations to Bowstoise winning it all, and, well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for Season 2.
Absolutely, but first, I want to thank everyone who's out here watching this and supporting us, and before we say goodbye, we're going to run through the stats of the entire season and let you know how everyone placed and their final records. But let's get into that.
Thank you so much for watching. Well, off the end of the Ultimate Amiibo League Season 1, 4 tournaments down. Muzdu, let's get into these tasty, tasty tidbits.
Absolutely. we're going to start by getting into the win percentage that you can see on the screen. And again, if you want to just pause at any of this and look at it like he already said, feel free. We won't take any offense. But we're going to focus on those who played or fought in the fewest amount of matches, the most amount of matches, and then, of course, those with the most wins. And so let's start...
And losses.
You're not wrong. But so starting with the fewest matches, we have Big Boss and Jin Kazama coming with 3-7 and 2-8, obviously rounding out the bottom. And then jumping to the most matches, we actually have Kraken, who went 7-7, and then Sir Bubble with a astounding 9-5 finish.
Yeah,
and then
both of those were in second and third in the tournament.
You're right. It seems more matches obviously gets you high in the rankings, but you have to be like Bowstoise with 10 wins.
3 tournaments dominated.
He had as many wins as Big Boss and Jin Kazama had, respectively, total matches.
Wow.
That right there is just something to absolutely behold, and it's honestly kind of hard to fathom. But moving away from that, Bosk, let's get into the last tourney results and how those played out through the entire season.
Yes, it's always great to look at these fighters after the season's over and say when they really came into form or when they exited out of form. And we're going to do a little fun challenge where we're going to try to put one word on each of these fighters. We might not be able to do it every single time, but let's get into it, starting with the man, the myth, the 8'9" Lizard King, Bowstoise, with 27 points. It was in a must-win situation in the end. Must-do. What's the word?
It has to be dominant. Every single time we saw him fight, except when against Jin Kazama, we saw a dominant outing, just establishing his dominance and making sure that no one else could compete with him.
Yeah, and that's evident because he won 3 out of 4 tournaments. That's probably not going to happen again, especially with all the rumors next year about more Amiibos joining. But he only lost to Jin Kazama. He's a powerhouse. He's dominant. But Sir Bubble with 26 points? I'm going to take this one from you. He's consistent. Now, can you tell us why he's consistent?
Well, Sir Bubble came with a second-place finish, but did not win a single tournament. And if we go back and look at the top of your screen, you see that Sir Bubble has a average rank of 2.75. And since he hasn't won, that means second place is the highest he could have gotten. And when you go and look at his actual placings, you get 2 second-place finishes, a third place, and a fourth place. He never dipped below that 500 mark. And with that, I agree with you. We have to give him consistent.
Next, we move on to Kraken. Kraken with 20 points.
Kraken is just someone who's fun to watch. And because of that, I'm going to give them electrifying.
Ooh, I'm going to say exhilarating because it was always a fun matchup. It didn't matter who he fought. Even when fighting Blue, they were like 1-1 in the end. And then, as we just saw recently, he did lose, but they were spiking, they were jumping, they were...
It was exhilarating
taunting.
and electrifying.
It was
it's a
both.
good thing they're synonyms.
And both start with E.
Speaking of E, we're moving on to Eclipse. What would you give Eclipse?
Eclipse. She is such a smooth fighter. I know a lot of people think that she dipped around in the rankings a lot from 6th place to the only other person to win a tournament, only other Amiibo to do that. But when she was on, she was so smooth with her down B spikes. Her combo game was just right. And do you think she was anything but smooth?
I mean, her playstyle as a whole is just... It looks like a dance.
Yeah.
And unless you're doing some hip-hop dances, most are typically smooth. They're fluent. And that is exactly how she performed.
I mean, she did get 18 points, which tied her with Blue. But due to that tournament win, it was the tiebreaker for her. And Blue, I think, was a favorite coming into this. What do you think about him?
We obviously know he's that aggressive play style, and so I don't necessarily want to give him the one word being aggressive, but frankly, that is what I have to do. It's hard to come up with a way to summarize his play style and how we felt watching him. When he's chasing, going for spikes, we see that flutter kick coming down, so I am going to go with aggressive for that one word for Blue.
As for me, I'm going to say potential. He had so much potential coming into it, And I think he really, after getting 8th place, he turned it on. He didn't finish worse than 3rd place after that 8th place finish. And I think he has potential next year to win it all.
You were absolutely right. I wish I would have thought about that going in there. It's just watching him, you see that aggression, but you see where it can take him. And so I absolutely agree with you. Potential is probably a better word for it. And I just think that that's a great way to move and to lead into our next one, which is Boardborg.
Yes.
And so, now what are we thinking for Boardborg?
He is so interesting. It's really difficult to place him because he would go from 7th place to 3rd to 6th to 5th. He's just inconsistent to me.
And you don't ever want to give someone a negative one-word review, but this inconsistency, it would be different if he started at 7, 6, 5th, and then 2nd. But because it started low, went high, but then back down, we are going to have to give it with that word you just gave us. And so but that actually takes us to Big Boss.
Ooh.
Now
you got this one because the Big Boss started off strong with 2nd place, then dropped to 7th and 8th, then ended up with a 6th in the end. But Muzdu, you have the perfect word for this one. I can sense it.
Just watching his playstyle, going back watching the videos, there is one word and one word alone that summarizes Big Boss, and that has to be explosive.
There.
I mean, with the amount of C4 kills he got to send the opponent off the stage.
And himself.
A few times. He may want to forget about those, but we won't let him. It's just, you can't give a better word to describe him. And, do you disagree?
No, explosive is the perfect explanation of Mr. Big Boss. But Jin Kazama, on the other hand...
Oh my. We've toyed with nicknames throughout the thing as being Bane of Champions or the Champion's Bane. But that's not one word. So where do you think we should place him? What one word should we give to Jin Kazama?
Well, one word is going to be really tough to come up with, but needs work.
We give him that NI on the report card. Needs improvement.
He didn't quite meet his benchmark. He didn't really do well. Like, he had one finish inside the top 4. Other than that, he was just trying to avoid 8th place, which he got twice. More than any other fighter.
Absolutely. So, I mean, he had 2 wins the entire season, and they both came in one tournament. So, it's very hard to give him...
Now, wait a second.
Was
He's the only person to beat Bowstoise.
You're right.
So, he's the champion of the league, which this just proves that sports are really funny because there's a rock, paper, scissors thing going on, that we can have someone who's the bottom of the barrel in points, 9 points, did not break double digits, beat Bowstoise with 27, 3 tournament wins.
So, what have I been saying throughout this entire season?
Stats don't tell the whole story.
You have to fight the fight. You have to play the game. And so, for this, I'm going to coin something maybe a little controversial, but playmaker.
Ooh.
Because...
I can see it.
I mean, I feel like you have a playmaker that changes the game. And when you look at this, he's obviously the last place. But he's able to make those key plays that let him beat the champion twice. And I think that might be what we have to go with.
Yeah, playmaker seems great. I mean, if it weren't for him, I don't think Eclipse would have won that tournament.
I think you're absolutely right. I think if Bowstoise isn't knocked out by Jin Kazama, we may have a sweep in the first season, which is just insane.
Yeah, but that's all the main tidbits that we have from Season 1. Thank you for watching, and if you listened to all of this, thank you so much. I'm Leica Bosk.
And I'm Muzdu.
And I can't wait for Season 2.
Fry. Boromir. Rob Ert. Raven.